Attack of the Titan, Leviathan horde for that DeLorean, brother, while we're ripping the cords. It's the dude they call Sharo, hieroglyphs and all that, deciphering the.
Hello there, mini war gamers. This is Jay from WarJeepney, and today I'm here to discuss the starts of my Aquan army. I got into this game less than 2 weeks ago, I think, or maybe a little more than that, and mainly it's the peer pressure that came from Terror, John Terror Sablan, and Ayo, our director Supanko. They were playing a demo game of Planetfall in House of Geek. I saw their game; it seemed pretty interesting, and I started researching how I could start my own Planetfall army. So the first thing I did was I found that there was I researched online and found there's a 2-player starter or 2-player battle box available for sale. I got mine from Fortress Games. We also sell this in Meeple Power Games at the Appraisery and House of Geek. Just order it from us. We'll get it to you as soon as we can. It sells for 5,800 pesos, if I remember correctly. And it comes with the start of 2 armies, so half a core helix for the Aquans and for the Directorate. To make it more economical, I split this box with one of my good friends, R1. He took the Directorate part. He's playing the bad guys for once, I'm playing the good guys for once. And I actually think he has the better models. But this reminds me so much of my Eldar, Ianden Eldar Wave Serpents. And that's why I chose the Aquans. Okay. Aside from the models that come with a 2-player starter, it comes with a printed rule book. So not totally necessary, because you can get this for free via the Spartan.com website. You can get a print-friendly or a tablet-friendly PDF of the entire rules. So I actually like that most miniature companies are letting their players download rule books for free now. Okay, it comes with artwork as well. So one for Directorate and one for the Aquans. Okay, it comes with certain templates. This is a shuttle marker, although it does come with a resin crashed shuttle as well that R1 got. Some templates like a deviation template and measurement templates, and then finally some tactical cards. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that it also comes with a campaign guide, which has some fluff as well as the stats for all the vehicles that come with, or the vehicles and units that come with your 2-player starter. It comes with 6 learn to play scenarios as well, and suggestions on how you can expand your initial purchase. For the Directorate, they recommend you go with an allied helix of Works Raptor, and for right here, and for the Aquans, they're suggesting you get a Turquoise Empire helix.
On deck, 90s kids calling me Dexter. Plastic sheets, black hacks.
So the Aquans, pretty much in the fluff, they're a peace-loving race, I think, of aquatic aliens who's, just drawn into this war-torn space opera, if you will, because of the humans, pretty much. So they're trying to defend their territory, they're trying to protect themselves, but they're not really into warmongering. So what makes them different from other races? Well, first of all, the Aquans have a bunch of skimmers. I don't think they have anything but skimmers and flyers in their army, except for the infantry troops and their drops. But as for armor, it's either a flyer or a skimmer that they have. This allows them to do hit and run tactics. They're pretty fast, so they're faster than most other races. So most of the army is composed of elite troopers, so elite tanks, elite infantry, which means that they rarely fail their disorder checks when they take enemy fire. which allows them to stay on the board longer than militia or normal troops. Okay, they roll an extra dice for their morale checks, pretty much. Their specialty in terms of weapons would be laser weapons, and these laser weapons can be reflected through various mirrors that they can purchase in their army. I'll get into that once I discuss the troops or the units that come with two-player starter. And then finally, they have the hardened shell rule. So any armored tank or any flyer that gets shot by the enemy ignores the location of the enemy. So even if you're shooting it on its side or from behind it, they don't suffer penalties until they're wounded for the first time.
It's the end of your reign. Your fire dissipating and I'm stroking my flame.
Okay, so what comes with the two-player starter box, at least the Aquan half of it. First, there's the command tank called the Sedna, which has dual Corona. Is it called Corona? Yeah, dual Corona pinpoint lasers, which has pinpoint 2, meaning you can roll 2 extra dice if you damage a certain model and see if it inflicts extra wounds. It's pretty fast. It moves. It has a cruising speed of 10 and a flat out speed of 14. So for a heavy tank, I think that's a decent speed. Plus, it's a transport. It can actually transport the infantry model. So the two-player starter also comes with 6 infantry bases, each one having 3 infantry models. That really doesn't matter in game. Now, these guys, pretty much, they just take objectives, hold objectives. That's all they're good for. They have a CQB rating of 2, which is pretty bad. And they have a damage rating of 3. Okay, so tactics-wise, you keep it in your Sedna tank until you get close enough to an objective. You spit them out and then have them enter that objective. The light tanks that come with the set are 4 Imzani light tanks. Again, these guys have laser weapons, anti-personal weapons, which means that they don't suffer penalties or defensive penalties from infantry models that they attack. So they roll normally against infantry models, and their range is pretty bad. I think they have a range of 12. But what I like about them is that they're recon specialists, which allows you a flat-out move of 20 inches even before the game starts. Plus, they have taken hold as a MAR or a model rule. And at least in that first game I played, what I did was I rushed forward to reach the objective on turn 1 or before turn 1, just held my ground and scored some points. So even if just one model with taken hold is in base contact with the objective and no other enemies are, you get points for that. So the medium tank squadron that comes with it would be the Lamana squadron. So 3 bases, again laser weapons, which seems to be a theme. They're hardy enough, I think. They have lasers and pinpoint 1 on those lasers. So just like the Sedna tank, if they hit an enemy model, they're able to attempt to inflict additional wound damage on them if they roll 6s on their pinpoint rolls. Now the Sorcerer is a specialist tank that comes with the set, and this one you can deploy either in the Sedna command squad or with the Lamana medium tanks. And what it does is it allows you to field 2 skydrop markers, and it has target lock, which means that if you're within range, you can shoot those skydrop markers to bring down their deviation dice. And if you have a deviation dice that says 1, it means that when you drop your skydrop units, they basically land in that area already, so it's more accurate. So one of those skydrop units I mentioned would be this Stingray squad, Comes in squads with 2 bases, and they're immobile. So once you drop them, they stay in place. But they do have circular vision, so they can fire their weapons all around. They have a range of 30, and fire interceptor Stingray missiles with corrosive effects. So if your opponent is sporting flyers, this is actually a good unit to bring with you. I'm not too happy with it so far in that one game I played. It did absolutely nothing. But we'll see. I'll keep fielding it in my games and see how effective it really is. Finally, to me, the star of the Aquan show would be the Voltari mirror crystals, or Voltari crystals. Again, these are sky drop units. So once you drop them, they stay in place. They're pretty decent. So in terms of stayability, which means that they don't really get destroyed instantly when someone shoots at them. Now, what they do for the Aquan army is they reflect any laser weapons shot at them by friendly units. Okay, and that effectively extends the range of the laser weapons that you already have. Once you shoot a Voltari crystal, its effective range is 30 inches. So even if you're shooting it with a 12-inch laser weapon, it gets you farther into the field or into the enemy lines. You can shoot farther into the enemy lines. Technique-wise, it's best to drop them behind enemy lines, I guess, so that the source of the shot comes from behind, and you get the bonuses for damage if you're shooting tanks, for example, from behind. Okay, so that's it. Again, the starter box, the Aquan side of the 2-player starter box comes with the Sedna command tank, heavy tank, Imzani, 4 bases of Imzani light tanks, Lamana medium tanks, three of those, a Surser specialist medium tank, Kitari Shoal strike shoals, 6 bases, a Stingray squad of 2 Voltari crystals, and the 2 skydrop markers that come with the Surser.
Murder in the game, cause I can and I'm able to. Like Jesus before when he welcomed me.
Now, the paint job, as you can see, the paint job that I chose is pretty unusual. And there's a story behind that. I really wanted to start an Aquan army, and being an aquatic race, I was figuring that there has to be like blues, primarily blues and greens in the color scheme that I chose. But the problem is right now I'm painting my JSA, which has a blue color scheme as well, my Infinity Yujing JSA army, as well as a Troll Bloods army for War Machine Hordes. And to tell you the truth, I'm sick of painting blue. So I did some research. I took a look at pictures of interesting colored crabs and found this one crab here. Okay, that has some hues of red that blends into some violets and then finally into blues. And since the fluff of Aquans is that they're using partly organic mechanized units, I was thinking that the red would signify that once one of these tanks gets close to an enemy, or once it starts priming its weapon, it turns redder and redder from its original blue color. So I used an airbrush. I love my airbrush. I used an airbrush to basically paint 80% of all of the models here. It took me around 9 hours in total to paint this half of a core helix plus the ground command helix that I purchased.
Sharper than the cheese that other rapper spin. Genome phone home, mic grip equipped, sick with
So thoughts, I like the game. I'll stay with the game. I like the system. It allows me to scratch a tank battle itch that I've always had. And this is something that I've been wanting to do even when I was playing 40K or other games as well. The scale of the models in those systems just simply didn't allow you to maneuver maneuver well with your tanks, to practice a lot of tactics with your tank maneuvering skills. But this does exactly that. So that was I played one game against Carlo of House of Geek, and it was a fun game. It took an hour, even with the learning and the checking on the rules and stuff. We played 2,500 points, and mostly enjoyed that entire game. Okay, so I would recommend you get, if you're thinking of starting a Planetfall army and you're okay with either the Directorate or the Aquans, I would strongly recommend this 2-player battle box. If you have a friend you can split it with. I myself split it with R1, as I mentioned. It's really good value. I think retail for the half a core helix, that's around 3,200 probably pesos. And if you get this alongside the rule books and other free stuff that comes with it, you only pay around 2,900 pesos for half a core helix. Lastly, I'd like to remind you can get Planetfall, FIRESTORM Planetfall, and other great miniature products from Meeple Power Games. Order it from House of Geek or the Appraisery. You can also contact the numbers I'm listing below. And you can also order it from Fortress Game stores like Pit Shop, Fortress in Green Hills, and Games and Gears. Hope you liked that review. This is Jay of WarJeepney signing off.
Attack of the Titan, Leviathan horde for that DeLorean, brother, while we're ripping the chords. It's the dude they call Sharo, hieroglyphs and all that. Deciphering the code is like bypassing a low jack city. Stay shifty cause we're rhyming with that gritty shit. Simple semi and logic on with nuclear warhead, not